Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Africa is about to witness the emergence of Ariseplay, Africa's premier global streaming services, telling African stories, celebrating Africans and people of African descent from all over the world. The full service will be rolled out in March 2020. Ariseplay, a sibling of Arise News TV, will be launched on January 20th, the day this day newspaper will be celebrating its 25th year of uncommon contributions to the evolution of modern journalism in Nigeria. For a discussion around all of this, we're now being joined by Khumalo, Chief Executive Officer of Ariseplay. Mr. Khumalo brings a raft of value and experience, having served as Director Africa Development Mnet Supersport between 2000 and 2003, CEO Channel 1 from 2001 to 2003, MD MultiChoice Botswana from 2003 to 2005, MD MultiChoice Nigeria in 2005 to 2008. COO MultiChoice South Africa, CEO MultiChoice Africa, as well as CEO MultiChoice South Africa from 2012 to 2013. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's
Welcome
a really impressive CV I just reeled off there.
Yes.
Quite a formidable achievement. Well, Collins Khumalo, good to see you again.
Yeah, no, good to be here.
Yes, I hope you are happy to be back in Nigeria.
No, very happy to be back.
Yeah, but tell us, what is Ariseplay all about? I've been hearing about it. I'm a member of the family, quite, a big family, media family, set up by Prince Nduka Obagbena.
Yes.
But this new addition to that family, what is it about, really, for the benefit of our viewers?
I think when we started going through the process of putting together Ariseplay, one of the challenges that the chairman put to us, he basically said, what is the next stage for the business, starting from this day to Arise TV, where to from next? And we wanted to come up with a concept that we believed was going to be sustainable, first and foremost, but secondly, was going to be the next wave for the growth of the Arise Media Group.
Fantastic. Yes. Now, all over the world, a lot more people are now streaming content from the internet rather than paying for cable subscription as we all used to. Yes. What is driving this change, and where does Ariseplay fit in?
Look, I think it's, if you look at the African continent, you can see that some of the bigger challenges around the availability of broadband makes it difficult for the uptake of any streaming services or platform. If you go to the US, you see that there's a massive uptake of what I would call free VOD, where people are going online and actually using advertising to support their streaming platforms. So we're looking at it from the perspective that says, what are the technological advances that are going to give us the opportunity to be able to ride that wave? And one of those is the implementation or the foreseeable launch of 5G. 5G is going to be a major catalyst that will make the availability of broadband almost available to anyone at limited costs. And we see that as the next wave that will then drive the Ariseplay platform. Yes.
Brilliant. And what else? That's an amazing factor. But what else would you say is unique about Ariseplay compared to other streaming services that we see today?
A lot of the platforms that are out there are using video on demand as their basis. We're using newstainment as our basis for our platform, which means we're going to be curating the content in such a way that we will be theming it. So some of the key themes, and one that comes to mind immediately right now, is that at least about 17 countries on the African continent this year will be celebrating 60 years of independence from the colonial pasts, Nigeria included. And therefore, we will be theming our platform to then talk to those stories around those countries, but also use that as a backdrop to use VOD as a supporting platform for that. Yeah.
Well, I understand that the whole objective is about inclusion.
Yes.
And representation.
Yes.
And projecting the African and the Black perspective.
Yes.
How would that play out? Is there, a neglect of the African perspective in the media mainstream as we have it today?
I wouldn't say that there is a neglect. I would say there is very little focus and emphasis on it. We're going to base our value proposition firstly on the storytellers themselves. That means they must be African or of African descent, and they could be from anywhere in the world, be it in the US, in the Caribbean, in Africa. We will seek out those people. We will collaborate with them to make sure that we put their content onto our platform. So that would be the first part. The second part would be for us to then be able to theme and pull out themes from Hollywood, Nollywood, and other sort of major production places like South Africa and Kenya to put that content onto the platform so that we begin to carve that niche and that opportunity to be able to tell our own stories. Yes.
Fantastic. So you've talked about the themes, importance of theming, and you've also talked about origin of African descent.
Yes.
But how else are you going to attract subscribers and ensure that you retain them?
We are investing quite a significant amount of resources in using AI to make sure that we, on an ongoing basis, like almost hour by hour or minute by minute, we know exactly what people are watching and why. And if people like a particular element of content, we would then make sure that we generate that content. We're not going to wait for 3 months or for 4 months to review and see what we've done. We will review it on a daily basis up until such time that we are able to know exactly what our subscribers are wanting on our platform. Yes.
Absolutely. And we are launching on the 20th of this month, but then the streaming service isn't necessarily going live till March, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Do you want to explain that, or?
Yeah, look, I think we've had to make sure that firstly, when we do go live, we have the right content for the platform. But secondly, we needed to make sure that we space it in such a way that we are able to cover all the regions that we would like to cover. So in March, we will launch Nigeria first because we believe that's where the company comes from. And then we will roll out to Southern Africa, then East Africa, and then the UK and the US in that order. And that will happen over the next between 6 to 9 months, yes.
Well, but Collins, let me ask you, what are the market prospects? I mean, from the analysis that you have done.
Yes.
I know Netflix,
Yes.
which is, a similar initiative, is
Yes.
doing well. But, what is the market like in Africa?
I think one has to almost take a step back. I think we see Netflix initially almost like as a collaborator, not as a competitor. When one watches the trends at a global level to see how people take up streaming platforms, if you serve them the content that they want, then people will come onto your platform. What we're looking at is, in the US as an example, each family now would have about 3 subscriptions, not one. So we see ourselves as finding our space as one of the platforms that people would want to come to, and we believe that there's a sizable market in the African continent as a starting point, but globally as well, which is where we believe our ambitions are lying. Yes.
So how do you go about sourcing your content?
We hosted an event at BAFTA in December last year, where we spoke to producers in the UK, and we'll be doing similar shows or sort of similar trips to the UK, to the US, South Africa, East Africa, firstly as a basis to create platform and content that will be unique to us. And then thereafter we go to traditional content, and that traditional content we're sourcing from the major studios, but also from Hollywood as well as Riverwood in Kenya to then supplement our platform and the content, yes.
Okay, and on a more personal note, what would you say you are most excited for with the launch of Ariseplay?
I think when I look at the number of platforms launching out there, I'm saying is we would like to make sure that this is the one platform that will lead in the African continent, at least within the next 5 years. And the excitement is about creating something from scratch that is fresh, that is different, that will cater to the needs of the people and make sure that the people are also attracted to the platform that we're creating and creating what I would call a next African giant in streaming. Yes.
Well, I mean, January 20 is the launch date.
Yes.
Right. What should we be looking forward to? By January 20, will you be going live? And if you are going live, is it immediately across Africa or in some pilot countries? What should be the expectations of the public, of the consumers?
January 20 will be the what I would call not the commercial launch, but almost like the announcement of the actual launch to the public.
I see.
Then in March, we will then go live, and we will be live primarily in Nigeria. And then we will then roll out to Southern Africa, East Africa, and then UK, as well as the US subsequent to that. But in March, when we do go live, it will be available in almost all the jurisdictions, but we will focus our energy on Nigeria as a starting point, yes.
So what are the water cooler moments we have to look forward to? Those moments where, well, that term comes from when people come to work, to the office, and they gather around the water cooler to discuss what they watched.
Yes.
Usually with like a company like Netflix, people
Yes.
talk about, oh, The Crown first season, did you see this? Or did you see Stranger Things?
Yes.
What can we look forward to? What are the hits that Ariseplay is going to give us?
I think that's what I want to put in my back pocket. So that
Well, you're at home, you're among family, you can share.
No, at least that's the one secret we want to keep in our back pocket. But we believe that we will come up with something that's quite major, that
Yes,
would make people...
cultural impact, because this company, well, the broad company from this day to Arise, now to Ariseplay, is known for its cultural impact. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to those water cooler moments.
No, definitely you'll get there.
Absolutely. And aside from, of course, moving across Africa and the rest of the world this year, what are the other main targets that Ariseplay is planning on hitting this year, 2020?
Well, I think primarily on our side, we're saying is we want to just make sure that the platform is the place that people would want to go to. If someone goes online and says, I want to stream content, he needs to say, I know that Arise will give me the content that I want, or Arise is my home page. You know, when you have your home page, that should be people's home page. That's the first major objective for us at this stage.
Well, Colin, see, let's open this up a bit. I mean, since my undergraduate days, we've been talking about the global information order
Yes.
and the imbalance. And over the years, over the decades, Africans have been trying to see how they can change that balance. Do you think we really have the capacity in Africa to change the narrative about the global information order? And if not, what are the challenges that we face?
Look, we can leapfrog a lot of territories in a lot of countries in the world. The biggest challenge to a large extent has been either the availability of spectrum for people to be able to launch digital platforms, or the availability of investment amounts of money that would enable one to be able to launch a 5G network all at once. And I believe that there is a lot that we can still be able to do. I believe that, and in fact, by launching this platform, I believe that we would be able to leapfrog quite a lot of other platforms in the world. And we believe that the take-up from the masses, especially once 5G is launched, because 5G is bringing enormous opportunities. I mean, to the extent that one can be able to launch what I would call drones, for example, to do deliveries in Lagos on the 5G platform. But that requires that investment to come in, which then requires the regulators to make sure that they are able to issue the required spectrum on time for people to do the investment and do the things that is required to do that. The challenges are there, but I think most of them are challenges that can be overcome through, I would say, political will. And not only Nigeria, I think throughout the continent, there has to be political will to say, we want to do this for our people.
Well, thank you very much, Collins.
Thank you.
We look forward to January 20. I'm already talking to my stylist to make sure that I turn out...
Suited and booted.
Yes,
you know,
all
on
dapper.
that occasion. So we'll see you on January 20.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having
all
me.
the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.